When I hear the words residential schools, I mostly think of loss, the loss of lives, loss of culture, loss for the students and the students' families, and just the loss in the Native community.
When I hear residential schools, I can't imagine how helpless the kids must feel who attended. It's just sad.
I feel disgusted when I hear residential schools that some of the children that attended were abused.
If you're taken away from your home and you don't know anyone in the school, you'd feel hopeless and isolated from your family.
I would feel very scared.
Kind of scared and overwhelmed. Broken.
I feel sad because children were taken from their homes and put into an institute where they had no idea what was going on, and they had no family there, and they probably felt very sad.
Bonjour. Kwe. Nagana Kwendish Nakas Makwandotem. I give thanks to each and every one of you for being here today. I ask the Creator for prayers on behalf of our planet. All the gifts that were given to us by the Creator should be acknowledged by each and every one of us on a daily basis. And I want to say another little prayer for all the people that stand up for the children. There's a lot of work being done out there. There's changes happening. It's slow, but it's happening.
My name is Andy Bryce, and my great-grandfather was Dr. Peter Henderson Bryce. He was the chief medical officer responsible for the Indian residential school system in Canada. In 1907, he uncovered serious health abuses at the schools. Today, my family and the people gathered here at Beechwood Cemetery in Ottawa are going to see a plaque unveiled, which honors my great-grandfather and his courageous actions. Among the invited guests is Ellie Kerr, a grandchild of Dr. Bryce.
The last time I saw him, when this picture was taken, I was sitting on his lap. I remember him as a very warm, sort of compassionate person. Not soppy compassionate at all, just, he cared about people, and you knew. And especially looking after everybody's health, and especially children.
Okay.
Cindy Blackstock initiated this gathering and brought dozens of hearts created by children from across Canada. Marie Wilson is a commissioner from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Ms. Wilson heard 6,000 hours of testimony from residential school survivors. Also in the crowd are survivors who have come to pay their respects to a man who told the truth and paid a price for it. As a young man, Peter Henderson Bryce was a brilliant student who studied medicine in Canada, Scotland, and France. In 1884, he wrote the first public health legislation for Ontario, and his work was adopted by all provinces in Canada and many states in the U.S. We have clean drinking water, septic systems, and mandated vaccination programs because of my great-grandfather and the people he worked with. In 1904, he moved to the federal government, where he became the chief medical officer in the Department of Indian Affairs. That's when he began gathering information on the health of children in residential schools. My great-grandfather visited 35 residential schools on the prairies in the spring of 1907. He found inadequate buildings, poor nutrition, and bad hygiene. He was shocked to find many students with the fatal disease of tuberculosis. Dr. Bryce estimated that 24% of all residential school students had died or were infected by the bacterium. In one school, the rate was 75%. There were more than 140 residential schools recognized by the federal government in every province and territory of Canada. The schools were run by churches and funded by the federal government. Students would be taken from their homes and sent to school many kilometers away, sometimes for years.
For Dr. Bryce.
Hello.
Peter Henderson Bryce, 1853 to 1932. He documented health abuses and high death rates in the residential school system as early as 1907. He was subsequently removed from the Department of Indian Affairs, but decades later he was recognized as a courageous and early advocate of universal standards in health and social issues.
What a great honor to be here today, with all the prayers and spirits that opened our mind and our hearts for a man whose heart was always open, whose mind was always clear. You know, I was taught by my own teachers and cultural teachers that the people of true greatness are not the people with necessarily the biggest hearts, but they're the ones who know the art of linking one heart with another heart with another heart, so that together as a people we can rise up in ways that allow us to honor our children's dreams and our ancestors' best hopes of who we would have become.
He made it plain that not everyone was bad and evil, and that there were people trying to do good and right things, to personify the fact also that not all white people are bad, that things are not racially narrowly defined, and that there's goodness in all of us. I thank you because this is such a profound expression of reconciliation. And to Dr. Bryce, I say, we remember you, we honor you, and we thank you. Masicho.
My scar is deep. My scar started at the age of 5.5. Walking up the stairs and meeting the father of that church, him patting me on top of the head after I greeted him and saying, "Oki napi," because he was a male, so I said, "Hello, my friend." I never knew about hell, but that's where hell started for me. Everything inside of me died. They tried to kill the Indian and the child. What they damn near succeeded was to kill the human being in that child.
I lost my innocence. I lost my dignity. I lost my pride. I was beaten. I was told that I was stupid, dumb, lazy, ugly, that I was a savage. I didn't learn a thing. I didn't learn anything in that school.
The Indian residential schools, not everybody was sexually abused. Not everybody was physically abused. But we were all spiritually abused. I talk about my experience because I want to get my power back, and I want to give the shame back to this person that abused me.
My great-grandfather acted with courage and integrity during his time at Indian Affairs. For many years, Dr. Bryce was thought of as a man with conflicting opinions, a man who rocked the boat. He was ignored by those above him and removed from the Department of Indian Affairs. Today, Peter Henderson Bryce is a figure of reconciliation, justice, and compassion.
After we did all the research, I really learned what happened and just so much about our history. Planting them is kind of more of a symbol of remembrance for those who died and also respect for the ones who still live.
When we were first introduced to the subject, I never heard anything from anyone about this.
I chose love because while I was making it, I thought about all the children and survivors who didn't get the love and the support they needed from families and communities. And every night, my mom kisses me goodnight. And I thought about how the children and the survivors never got that.
Compassion. I chose compassion because I have compassion for children who attended residential schools.
Respect. Everyone has a right to be who they are and what they believe in. Forgiveness, because forgiveness is an important part of the healing process.